What's up, Nitwits? It's Domino99, aka Slippery Pickle, and with me as always
is Game Over Joey.
Alright, guys, fun, easy topic I know Joe's been dying to get to, and we've kind of hinted around and played around with this as we're going on. But what in the snickerdoodle is PlayStation doing right now? Not just what PlayStation is doing. What's Paul Ryan, or Jim Ryan, that's his name, the CEO, what is he doing even?
Yeah, Snickerdoodle. Interesting choice, Dom. Very interesting. Yeah, you're right. I've been super excited for this topic. I have a lot to say. Again, I just want to lead with I am not a PlayStation hater. I am not a Xbox fanboy, a PlayStation fanboy. I'm mainly a PC gamer. I know I've said this in previous podcasts, but I want to lead with that because there's going to be a lot of negativity coming from me today.
Now, what's new?
Oh, whatever. I state the facts. That's what we're here for.
Sometimes you just need to hear it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I think one easy thing just to jump into, right into the topic, one of the biggest things that we talked about was what would PlayStation do to respond to Game Pass? Game Pass is unbelievable. Game Pass is putting, launch games right on it. There's so many things that Microsoft's doing to improve Xbox and make you want to go play Xbox. Whereas PlayStation right now, we're just sitting there waiting. We have no response. We have no nothing.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to start this off. And I'm just going to address the... what's the saying? Address the
elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room. So when this was brought up to Jim Ryan simply said that there's going to be news about this. They're going to find some way to combat this, but there's no actual news currently. It's going to come at a later date.
Ooh, wait, we did get something. I know so many people that went and bought PlayStations just to play the show. They let an exclusive game then go to Game Pass first day launch. So that was something that they let happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so... I mean, I guess we did get something. They let something go.
That was the big plan.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Jim Ryan did say that there wasn't anything that they're really doing to combat it currently, right? And he also stated that they'll never have day one exclusives from Sony come to their PlayStation Now. So, and when he said that, that was counterintuitive. That means you don't have anything that's really going to combat what Microsoft is doing. Because the reason why Microsoft's is so great, not just because you can sign up for $1, not just because you can use your Xbox rewards and redeem points and get in Game Pass free for months. You can literally pay $1 for Game Pass and pay $1 for Game Pass for a full year if you actually play Xbox enough because you earn rewards, which is insane because a lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. So when you put it in that perspective and you're going to be getting all their exclusives day one, Fable, Halo, all Bethesda games, the value is astronomical. It's just insane. And PlayStation not rebuttaling that is going to hurt them long term. It's, Jim Ryan, I think that I know there's a counter argument. The counter argument is PlayStation doesn't have as deep pockets as Microsoft, so they can't pull some of these things off, and I get that. But it's working for Microsoft. 18 million subscribers per month, right? Let's just say, all of them didn't do $1, right? Most of those people are going to be paying that full $15 a month, or they paid up front for the full year. So you're looking at not millions, but billions of dollars coming in a month to Xbox because of the subscription. I don't understand how PlayStation, aka Jim Ryan, doesn't see the value in that. It is a great price, a great deal, and if you don't have Game Pass, you're missing out. That's the fact.
I mean, I kind of feel Game Pass is worth almost double what they charge you for it with everything they're putting on it, and that's like a scary, great thing because it shows, hey, they could raise this at any moment, but right now the price point is just insane. It's just astronomically too good, like to pass anything up on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing, I know a lot of PlayStation fans, well, fanboys, like a great friend of mine, Ryan. Well, the PlayStation sold more consoles. Nostradamus predicted that back a couple podcasts ago here, saying that Xbox isn't fighting console for console sales.
Yeah.
Because they now are fighting with PC and Xbox sales. They just want to sell Game Pass.
Yep.
The way that you're going to look at this is PlayStation's going to win the console selling. There's no doubt. They're not going to stop them on that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But the Game Pass is what Xbox is just going for. And slowly but surely, we're seeing just, I feel things lose, this PlayStation losing all their grip on things. And just things are slipping away. And we're just building up a bigger divide now of who I feel is winning right now, this console war.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. So, it's funny. I have a friend who also is a hardcore PlayStation fan. He messaged me recently. He said, "Did you see that report? Did you see that PlayStation outsold Xbox? Did you see that it's breaking records across the United States, across the world?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I thought you said Xbox is going to win this console war." I said, "I did, and I stand by that." And he's like, "Well, apparently you didn't read the article, or you just, whatever." And I said, "No, I read the article. But here's the thing. Again, they're not trying to sell consoles. They're trying to sell Game Pass. And you look at 18 million subscribers already, and that's numbers from January.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. They're making a tremendous amount more money than Sony. Sony may be pushing more consoles, but again, Xbox has also set records with their console sales, and that's not including Game Pass. So if you look at, I think, long-term, the financials, Xbox is always going to be ahead.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think when people start seeing these exclusives pump out from Bethesda and so forth, and these other billion studios that they own, let's be real, I think Xbox sales are going to go up. Also, a recent report came out where Xbox actually released the S or the Series S version in India, and it's the best-selling console in India of all time. And that's after, PS5 and everything already launched there. So all I'm trying to get at, though, is that they had their Series S was not a bad idea. It's targeting 1080 at 60 frames or at 120 frames, and then 1440 at 60 to 30 frames, depending on the game. It was actually a pretty good idea because a lot of people are buying it. And I truly think that they are still going to, actually, I'm going to take that. I know they're going to win this console war. There's no doubt in my mind. If we're looking at all aspects, Xbox will have the better financial and spreadsheet. So,
and just like a quick little jump in on that, we can also take what we've learned from Netflix, from Disney Plus too. The subscription-based thing, like they have, when there's a big show coming out or anything, the numbers skyrocket. So with Game Pass, you can only imagine that it's going to skyrocket when as much crap as I give Halo. When Halo's coming and there's like official word on when, Game Pass is going to skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't buy things because they'll look at the deal and they'll be like, oh, why would I pay $50 a month? Over a year, I can save more. So they're going to pay the yearly fee.
Yeah.
Just for the certain core games that they want. You're going to see spikes slowly throughout the years. Well,
Absolutely.
the year, from Xbox, because what they're doing, PlayStation and the consoles, you're just going to see console sales, but there's no big game right now that either console has that everyone's like dying.
You're wrong. But there's actually some great news coming up. They're going to do a remastered Last of Us. It's definitely going to be a PS5 pusher. I know a ton of people that are going to rebuy a PlayStation, buy a console just for the Last of Us remaster.
Hey. I mean, I used to only play Xbox, and one of my roommates had the PlayStation. That's when I played Last of Us, and I still rate Last of Us as one of the best games I ever played. And it's unfortunate that I feel Last of Us 2 lost that feeling that Last of Us 1 had. So, I think, like you said, it's a good console pusher, but
it's being sarcastic.
I know. It's just a cheesy move.
Yeah, so, it's a horrible decision, horrible move. Like, here's the thing. They've already remade Last of Us. Again, they've already done that for PlayStation 4 Pro. They released a remastered copy already, where they already had enhanced visuals, better frames. They've already done it one time. There's no point in to do it again for PlayStation 5. It makes absolutely no sense. I'll be frank, and I don't care what anybody says. Again, I look at it, it's a one and done. That's most of PlayStation games. I have beat Last of Us twice. I'm not going back a third or fourth or fifth time. I'm not going to do it. There's no way. I already know what happens. The replayability died for me. It's a stupid move. It's a dumb move. And the fact that they're not going to allow a Days Gone 2 is disgusting. It is insane. You have a amazing studio, Bend, who presented this idea to them, and they shot it down. They shot this studio down, okay? And why that bothers me so much is because, yes, I understand Days Gone was not a phenomenal game. It was a good game, though. It was a game that had potential. It was a new IP. Most new IPs don't come out and blow up. They usually come out, they do okay. Look at Destiny. Look how big Destiny got. But the point is that you shot down this studio, one of your studios that is a very creative studio. You said, hey, well, we need you guys to work on the next Uncharted game with Naughty Dog. And then basically Ben said, no, we're not going to be a support studio. Can we work on another new IP? Sony did say yes on that, but from reports, they had to literally twist arms and legs to get Jim Ryan to say yes, to get Sony to back them. And this is what I'm going to get at right here. During Xbox's most recent conference, they talked about how they want their studios to have freedom to create whatever they want to. If it's a game that they don't like after they start developing it, they could be 2 years into it. They can go ahead and start from scratch. Again, I understand Sony doesn't have those deep pocketbooks, but here's what's going to happen. If Sony's going to keep responding this way to its developers, they're going to jump ship and go over to Xbox. And I'm going to laugh when one big major studio does that, when they leave Sony and jump on the Xbox train. Mark it here, that's going to be the next thing, and I'm calling it. A studio's going to leave PlayStation and go to Xbox. Now, I don't know when it's going to happen, though, and that's when Sony's going to realize that they messed up.
Nostra Joe, Miss Euro.
Sorry about that. I was very passionate there, and it's very frustrating.
No, but you yet again, it goes to the point of PlayStation right now. They're trying to focus, I think, on the big picture, like the big games, the big studios, the big everything. But the problem is the heavy hitters only come X amount of times a year.
Yep.
You need those smaller games to fill in the meantime.
Yep.
Not too many people schedule out like, oh, well, I'm going to play this game from January to, March, and then, in April I have a new game that will be out, and then I'll play that game from here to there. Whenever, you need those little tier games to come out to occupy you for a little bit. Yeah. And I feel letting a game like that slip away, which, I mean, as you said perfectly, it's its first one. It was something completely different. It's not the greatest game, but it is a great game. Yeah. It has its own little, style, its own little everything. If you let them keep building on that and let them keep developing on that, it's only going to keep getting better. But you're telling the studio, no, what's going to stop them from going now to Microsoft or going to another studio, just being like, hey, we have this perfect idea. You're going to make it work for us? And that's what's going to slip away. I mean, it sounds dumb, it sounds simple, it sounds everything, but it's true. Like, right now, I feel everything that Sony is focused on is they need heavy hitters. They need heavy hitters. Well, in baseball, if you had all home runs hitters, if you're not hitting home runs, you're going to get slaughtered. So, what's the point,
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And that's going to happen. I mean, look at MLB The Show. And that's the perfect example. And what happened was it left Sony. And now we don't know the full reason behind it. But we can only assume sales weren't as strong, or maybe there was a lot going on the Sony side that MLB didn't like. Don't know, right? We don't know the full ins and outs, but it just happened, right? Not a whole studio left, but a game is now on a platform that it's never been on. And then just I want to reiterate, too, the strength of that Game Pass. We just had Outriders drop on it, right?
Yep.
And we're looking at a ton of other possibilities of games coming to it other than Outriders from other big studios. I mean, we got Ubisoft, I think it's called like Uplay or whatever, that may be coming
Yeah.
to Game Pass. It's been rumored. And that will be a massive deal. You have Death Stranding possibly coming. I know I've mentioned this in the last podcast, but that's such a huge deal. Persona may be making a preview on Xbox for its next game, which is a huge deal because that's usually been mainly just a small minor exclusive rights. And what I mean by that, timed exclusive rights to PlayStation. And the fact that they're not going to be doing that in their next game possibility, that's huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
So when you look at all of this going on, Xbox isn't just throwing money at these companies, but they're saying, "Hey guys, we are the right place to be. We want you to play here. We want you to be here." And then the kind of the cherry on top here is really focused around how PlayStation 5 games are $70. And guess what? Xbox Series X games aren't. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? And Jim Ryan supports it. Jim Ryan's response to that was, if you measure the hours of entertainment provided by a video game, such as Demon's Souls, compared to any other's form of entertainment, I think that's a very straightforward comparison to draw.
Yeah.
And that's what Jim Ryan said. And I think that was a horrible thing to say. I get $70. I can see the increase rate. It costs more to make games, blah, 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 blah. But $70, that's a lot. I know it's only $10. But when you look at, if you just say just $10, right? Let's say on average gamer buys 4 to 5 games a year. That's basically a whole game that they're losing out on just because they want to increase the amount by $10. And that's not including PlayStation, their monthly subscription, or what's it called, PlayStation Plus. That's just insane, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think that was a horrible idea. They should have kept it to $60. It's that kind of that sweet spot, I think.
So the show, I looked it up. It's been exclusive since 2000 or MLB 6. So since 2006 has been the exclusive just for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Xbox had its own. I think it was 2K Baseball that competed with it,
which was trash.
Yeah, and then for the last 7 years, it's the only way you could play baseball on any console was strictly with PlayStation.
Yeah.
And MLB itself decided to end the exclusivity and go to more platforms.
Yep.
Which is a nice way of putting, hey, they probably wouldn't pay us enough to stay with just them. I mean, because if you've worked for someone for almost 2 decades, I mean, that's hard to break that loyalty. And I mean, I think that's one thing to look at is we're constantly repeating the same things for Sony. And we've been saying this previously, even the PS4 ending of the PS4, going into just PS5 era. As we keep repeating the same things over and over and over again. And now we're just sitting here waiting like, why? Why are we still fighting this?
Yeah. Yep. No, that's exactly it. It's so frustrating to sit here and think that PlayStation, who clearly won last generation, right? Who did everything right, but they were under different leadership then. They were under Sean Layden. And Sean Layden has been... people have been blowing his name up on the internet, saying, hey, we need him back at PlayStation or Sony Interactive, whatever you want to say. And they're basically dissing Jim Ryan. Oh, my bad. And he it is a shame to sit here and think that as good as they did last console, for them to drop, they started off strong. No, can't diss that, right? But they have really taken a step backwards. I mean, just another thing. I mean, they just recently restructured their Japan studio and had a ton of layoffs. Why? That's huge. That was kind of their, Japan is their bread and butter. They sell like crazy overseas. And to do that, what were you thinking? What were the thoughts behind that?
And who recently just started going to that market?
Microsoft. So Xbox. So it's insane. And not only that, there's been rumors about, that exclusive gaming development by Kojima for Xbox. That's huge. And the other thing that's kind of insane to think about too is there's been rumors about Sega and all these things where Xbox wants to have a huge audience in those markets, and it's just like, I swear, PlayStation is really saying, hey, well, Xbox, we welcome you. It's like, it's insane to think like that, but I swear they're doing it. And the other thing, too, recently Sony took down the PlayStation 3 in the PSP store. And I thought to myself, why? Why would you do that? If there was still a ton of money coming in there. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people in other countries that can't benefit from a PlayStation 4 or PS5. They can't afford one, who are still on the PS3 and playing the PSPs, and they are still buying your games there. But you shut it down, and now they don't have anything to play online. That's just insane to think that you do that. Like, 360 store's still up and running. Now, again, I don't use it, but I know it's still up and running. And why, PlayStation, why would you do that, especially in this time, with all this other negative press that you have coming out? It's just mind-boggling to think.
It sounds like the Switch is going to be getting some more sales.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's actually good for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boys at Nintendo.
Yeah, but I think the end result, what we can all say here, is Sony is really dropping the ball, right? They're not focusing on the consumer, and it's sad and actually hysterical to see on Twitter when your biggest Sony fanboys are hating on Sony now, and they're really dissing PlayStation. There was a meme that was floating around where they showed all the PlayStation goats, and Jim Ryan wasn't listed there, but Layden was. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, like, basically how I feel PlayStation is doing, like, they're like, oh, we accept all competitors, and that's great to do, and it's very cocky of you and great, but when you look like you do, and then, you're facing Captain America Steve Rogers over here, like, yeah, that one looks more appealing, I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me what they're doing. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating, I guess, because I switched over to PlayStation after having an Xbox for my console, because actually the show was one of the main reasons, and I had a couple more friends that play PlayStation, and now it's like, well, I'm gonna go PC and Xbox route now, and then eventually I'll go and get a PlayStation if I want to, but there's no reason to.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation eventually is going to have to counter and put stuff on PC, like everything, and just, service like that, service like, and then what's the point of having it?
Yeah, that's you're correct. I think that's the road that's going to happen. I mean, we got a lot of actually PlayStation exclusives coming to PC now. I know they're older games, like, for example, Days Gone, and then Horizon Zero Dawn, and so forth. So, but still, I do think that they're eventually going to just bend the knee, Game of Thrones reference, and bring the rest of their games to PC, which will be, I think, a really good move on their part, because obviously there's going to be a lot of money to be made there. But that does then raise the question: their consoles won't sell as much. I think that kind of hurts, Xbox consoles too, though, because if you think about it, I don't need to own an Xbox to play these games anymore. I can just play them on PC.
Yeah.
So if you really think about it, Xbox is truly ahead in this race, and there's no arguing it. And the only reason I could see PlayStation not bringing all their games is for that very reason. They don't want to slow down their console sales. Yeah. But
they're gonna hang their hat on we sold more consoles.
Yeah,
that's gonna be their big, like, that's gonna be the big, well, we sold more than them. And I at least they're winning something, so that's something that's what you have to fight for. Sure. It's a good business tactic in a way, but not the best overall.
No, not at all. And all I'm gonna say, kind of, my closing thoughts here is, I know you know who he is, Colin Moriarty. Love the guy. He was on IGN. Has his own little podcast now. A matter of fact, he tweeted something, and I follow him, and I love reading what he has to say. And he said, "I'm truly nervous that we're dealing with a PlayStation that thinks they need to remake The Last of Us. What the hell is going on over there?" I think that sums up everything that we just talked about. Sony's new vision shouldn't just be remakes. That is a horrible, horrible vision to have. We, as you said, we need to hear more about other exclusives coming to PlayStation. Actually, one last thing I need to bring up, just because the rumor just came out just the other day. Supposedly, there are a few big companies looking to purchase Square Enix, and I am really, really, really interested to see who they are. Obviously, two come to mind are obviously Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
And who has the bigger pockets? Xbox. So let's just say there's a value that, we'll just use Bethesda, $7.5 billion. I could see Sony offering that, then Xbox saying, here's $12 billion. Just saying, who's gonna come out big dong swinging? I'm just saying. I am really curious to see if this rumor is true. It's from Bloomberg, and I'll definitely have the article pulled up on the screen. But I am really, really, really curious, because if it is true, and let's just say it is Xbox, there's the Japan market right there.
I mean, Square Enix, I know they've denied it, but every company denies before you sell.
Yeah.
Legal ramifications.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny in a way, because it's something that you've talked about multiple times. It's something that Microsoft has been very outspoken about. They want to get into that market.
Mm-hmm.
And things like this just don't pop up. I mean, you can look at any business, it's not just video games. When people want to get into a field or people want to do something, and then all of a sudden a major component in that field just so happens to be rumored to be in talks of a takeover or a sell or anything like that, there's smoke where the fire is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Bethesda was rumored to be being bought. I mean, any major big studio is going to get a rumor, right? When somebody's looking to buy them, because somebody's going to spill the beans. We don't know details, of course, and we never will. Just as you said, there's ramifications, right? There's lawsuits. You just can't say anything. Legalities. But there's definitely some truth behind this story. And I'm leaning more towards Xbox, because they have the pockets for it. Just like any other big company, what happens is a bidding war. There's never going to be just one massive company that goes to another company and saying, hey, Square Enix, you're a huge company. You have some amazing exclusives. One of the best MMOs out. That makes
of all time.
Yeah, a ton of money for them. Here's hey, we want to purchase you for $7 billion. And then I can see Square Enix CEO, hey, Phil, well, Sony says $7 billion. What can you do? 12. All right, deal. Because they can't come up. Logically,
Phil, you
here,
hear this?
Again, we look at their numbers. Sony's worth almost $102 billion. Now you have Microsoft worth over $2 trillion. So when you look at that, and that's liquid, so that's what they can spend. You think about that. Xbox can go ahead and offer whatever they want and not flinch. Sony cannot offer 10% of their net worth for one company. They can't do it. It'd be stupid, and it would cost them long term, where they would have to close down other divisions, layoffs, whatever. And that just would be a really bad business move. Now, I don't know
Sony's... No, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said Sony's going to have to play the approach of going after independent, smaller studios, but Microsoft's already taken the stronger market on that. So, in order to build them up to be able to start affording big studios like this, instead of just trying to get the game just to go for the home run, they're going to have to build up the minor leagues here again.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft has sat there and understood that they weren't the best last year, our last console war. They knew it, they accepted it, and they've done everything in their power to keep improving. And I mean, Nintendo basically is like, hey, we're our own thing. Don't mess with us. We won't mess with you type deal, because, they live in their own world of everything.
Yeah.
But when you look at these two, I mean, it's just juggernauts, but it's like, are we looking at passing up the guard again?
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that's a perfect way of putting it. I just can't see, Sony doing that acquisition, and I don't think it's going to happen on Sony's end. They just don't have the capital. You have companies out there who are like Activision that is worth almost the same amount as PlayStation, and thinking about that is just insane. What Sony would need to do to be able to afford something like that, and this is my personal opinion. I'm no business expert, but here's the thing: Sony's dipping in so many things: headphones, speakers, TVs, consoles, so much more out there, right? And when you think about that, their most profitable division is their gaming division. So I think about it. All the other divisions are losing money. Maybe it's time for Sony to scrap them. I don't buy Sony televisions. I'm an LG fan because I love OLED, but most people go QLED Samsung. That market is for the weirdos. But the point is, those are the two major brands in the game, not really Sony anymore.
Yep.
And their television brand, I know it's profitable, but not by much if you look at their financials. Maybe it's time to cut some cost and to focus just on your gaming division. And your movies suck, usually when Sony has something to do with them. That's just facts.
Spider-Man.
Huh?
That's all he got. Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's about it.
And they had to loan Spider-Man out to get like real quality use out of Spider-Man.
Yeah. So, again, maybe that's something they need to visit. And hey, guys, if you need not a financial expert, because I'm definitely not that, a business developer or something on those lines who can give you some good ideas, come my way. I'm sure I'd be a lot cheaper than the average person. But I think I could run the company better than Jim Ryan. So if you're looking for a new CEO, come find me.
My dog could do that.
No, yeah, at this rate, yeah, sure, he probably could.
But I mean, it's kind of like Sears. What happened to them is they were just too many hands and too many pockets here instead of just focusing on their own stuff. I think it's kind of sorry.
Not to interrupt, but just because you brought Sears up, what bothered me so much about Sears is they had literally one of the best tool brands, Craftsman, right? They had gold, and they screwed that up. That's so upsetting. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that's the thing is, like you said, it's time to start looking in. I mean, when you're that big of a business, if you're losing that much money, if you're bleeding from other departments, you got to cut them.
Yeah.
I mean, major companies do this all the time. It's nothing different. The only difference now is I think there's a huge stigmatism with gaming, and people don't want to be associated with just gaming. And I think slowly that will change, that will evolve. But there's still a lot of older generation people, let's word it like that, that view gaming as just like a fad or it's just a thing. Whereas, I mean, younger generations, you have just people that have been so ingrained in it for our whole lives. I mean, you're looking at a group of people now in their 30s that we've been playing video games our whole lives. Like, we're slowly, like, it's okay for us. Like, who cares? But I think there's still older generations that view it as, like, that's a weird thing. Why would you want to sit there and just play video games all day?
Hey, go outside and get some fresh air.
Yeah. No, that's like for quick pee breaks. And then I go outside, breathe it in, and then run back. I mean, get used to it. But I think it's something, too, is we're slowly seeing, like, CEOs and things of other companies, like, where they're like, well, how did it go wrong? And it's like, how didn't it go wrong for you? Like,
yeah. No, and that's perfect to say, too. I do think a lot of these companies, mainly a lot of the game developers that come out with games, too, or who release a game and the game doesn't do well, what did we do?
Yeah.
You're not listening to what people want. That's what you did.
Yeah. You literally just Google your game and click reviews and the people tell you.
Yeah.
They're flat out honest with you.
Or just do what the games used to do. Have a demo. Do you remember way back in the day when you get like an Xbox magazine and came with a demo disc?
Yeah.
And give us a demo, let us play the game, provide you feedback, and we'll let you know where it's at. That's simple. If you do that, your game will be 10 times more successful when it launches. I mean,
go
ahead.
What drives me mad is they come out with these like betas for you to play, and it's only for like, I don't know, like 36 hours. And it always makes me mad because I swear they always come on weekends that I have like whole life events going on.
Yeah.
There was a dodgeball game I've been wanting to play. I can't even think of the name of it now, but it was like a month ago. But it cut off at like 7 o'clock on a Sunday. And it was like, well, shit, like, Sunday night's a perfect night to game. Like, why would you cut? Like, that's the night you want feedback.
Yeah.
Because my lazy self who works on Mondays, like, I'm going to stay and play this game so I don't have to worry about work tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
it fascinates me. Like, I feel demos, like, betas, everything, they're just so rare now, where they're so short that people don't want to be told like your game's not ready.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And it bothers me so bad. It's frustrating, especially when for example, we all work, right? Most people work,
Mm-hmm.
and you have lives outside of that. So when a game demo drops or a beta, you don't always have the time to be able to put the hours you want to in it. So I think, yeah, that's right. They should be longer, and they shouldn't be so close to the game launch, because when they're so close to the game launch, you know damn well that they're not going to be able to fix all the problems that are going to be addressed by the fans. And I think that is a horrible, horrible way of really promoting your game.
I think the last great one I remember is Gears 3, because they had like every mode, everything, and then if you leveled up X amount, like it didn't count towards your, like when you actually bought the game and played, but there were tiers in the demo that you played, and then you unlocked those exclusive characters. Like, what happened to that? Like that seems like such a easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Like they give me some Coltrane BS that I was going to play for anyways. I mean, you didn't have to tell me I was going to max out my level during the demo, but you threw in a skin. I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like, I'll use this different gun to get a gold whatever, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that's a cool niche that a lot of games used to have, and that they really, shied away from. And it's really disappointing. I'm really disappointed with the way some companies developers are handling their games. I mean, you think we'd be used to it, but I was used to when growing up getting these polished games at launch, these games that were phenomenal, and then mid 2000s. Actually, meant mid 2000s. Actually, like more like 2014 and up.
Yeah, say 2010s.
Yeah, the games just started coming out and half-assed, and it's been rough.
Well, I think a lot of games are like, we'll have a patch. Like, we'll get the patch out. And people are kind of fed up with it. And I think that's kind of why these Battle Royale games that come out when they're free, and everyone's like, I'm so sick of these free games. But the advantage is you didn't pay anything, so you don't care if they have to patch and fix themselves.
Yeah. Well,
like, you're like,
what's insane is like some of these Battle Royales that come out that are free are better polished than a multi-story game. Like, and that's just insane to think.
And there's no reason for that.
No, not at all. And to sit here and think that Apex launched, the day it launched, it was amazing. And just overall polished. It felt great. It's such a phenomenal game. But yet, Outriders launches and has so many problems. Again, I'm an Outriders fan. I love the game. It's definitely a major grind element to it, which I love. But there were so many problems at launch.
Yeah.
And patch after patch, were creating new issues every time they patched the game. One of the big issues were your inventory was wiped, which obviously caused a huge problem within the community.
Just slight on a grind game.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. I could talk about this all day.
Nintendo doesn't have that problem though.
No, Nintendo doesn't. But again, they all
it's a different thing.
But they also only released a couple games in their entire cycle. That makes sense.
They're like, hey, what year is it? Yeah, we got to launch out another Mario.
When's the last one we launched?
Yeah,
John. That was about 5 years, sir. Oh my gosh, our fans really need one. And then they launch one and it's flawless. I mean,
CEO's over there was like, "Where's that fat plumber been lately?"
Oh yeah, but yeah. It's again, Mario Odyssey, hands down, what literally was flawless at launch and a phenomenal game.
Isn't it scary that Nintendo, we're like 3 years removed from Nintendo coming out with games that probably would have won Game of the Year any other year in the past 10 years, and they competed against each other?
Yeah.
I don't know why that always fascinates me, because Nintendo has not had anything of that caliber in the past since to be able to compete for a Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just think it's crazy. So when they come out with something, it's always gold. But we sit here and we have to wait for forever. And then the counter to that is we get games that come out yearly and we have to sit there and wait for patches constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what really is the better tactic? Who knows? But I enjoy a flawless game when it comes out because I'm not mad that I wasted $60 on a game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's one thing I just thought of. It was so random. We talked about this the other day in regards to games being delayed.
Yeah.
I can't believe we forgot Far Cry 6.
Oh! You shouldn't have said that for yourself.
I know, I just seriously just depressed myself, like, horribly. Back for Blood and Far Cry 6.
This is
God.
This is the definition of insanity.
Oh, man.
Repeating the same thing over and over again. Hey, Joe, you know it's not delayed?
What?
Mass Effect. Boom, Mass Effect plug.
But
For like the 5th straight one.
Here's the thing, though. Like, here's the problem. It's coming out very soon, and it's not going to hold me over till Back for Blood. And
0% chance.
And they still, Far Cry 6 still doesn't have an official launch date now. Ubisoft said between April 12th and February of 2022.
Yeah, I'll say that bad boy going into mid 2022.
If it's another year or something, I'm writing off Ubisoft and I'm done. I'm writing a strongly worded email, sending it, and I will never purchase a product from them again.
They're gonna mash out another Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I think the last few have been phenomenal.
They have been, but
and if they here's I think we just talked about this the other night, but if they drop another Assassin's Creed, that's going to be fine because it's going to sell. They don't drop them; they sell. That's why they keep dropping them. Obviously, they're not. They're financial. If you look it up or you listen to the earnings call, Assassin's Creed is a huge pusher for them, as in how much money they're making. So they're going to keep doing it because people keep buying them. That's that. It's no different than Madden or FIFA.
Hold on. It's the Call of Duty effect. So many people hate Call of Duty because they come out with a game every year. Yet every person buys it.
Yeah, exactly it.
Since COD 4, it was like, yeah, you gotta get it, man. You gotta try this game. And every year, you're like, oh, I hate it. It was too much like Halo. I'm buying the next one though. And then you play that one. You're like, oh, I hate that one, but I'm buying the next one. But you keep playing it and you keep buying it, and you're just like, I don't know why I'm doing it at this point. But you keep doing it. I mean, it's the same thing as Assassin's Creed because you don't want to be the one to finally miss out on the game that like you feels changes it for you or brings you back or
Yeah, I have loved every Assassin's Creed the last few years. I know they were taking breaks for a while there.
I think that helps though.
And when it definitely did because when they came out with Origins after they just got off a break for like 2 years, I was amped for Origins and
they had to get work on themselves.
Oh yeah, I played Origins, loved it. Then Odyssey came out a year later, loved it. Valhalla came out another year later, loved it. These last 3 games have been phenomenal because they're really focusing RPGs. And what's insane too to think is how big of a difference the games are from each other. I know there's multiple studios that develop Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft. Part of me thinks if they got away from that name and launched these games as like if you were a new IP,
yeah,
would that help the fatigue that some people have?
So instead of it still would be Ubisoft, but instead of coming under Ubisoft, be under Nitwit Gaming.
Well,
would that change it? Like
it would still be under Ubisoft, but it wouldn't be called Assassin's Creed anymore. It'd be called like, for example, Valhalla. It would just be called Valhalla straight. Because Valhalla is nothing like Origins or Odyssey. It's completely different.
You could just call it AC. Valhalla. Even something silly like that.
Yeah, I wonder if just rebranding it would help. Because, like, my fatigue is not necessarily there. It's there, but it isn't. Like, next Assassin's Creed, I'll most likely buy it and beat it. But, again, the last 3 have been phenomenal. They're different to the point where you want to play them. But I can see why somebody would be fatigued like yourself. I can see why people don't want to buy them anymore. But for me, I'll play them just because I have always loved them. But the history element, which is really what gets me into the game, the last one, with Odyssey with Cleopatra and everything, I thought that was amazing. amazing. Greek mythology is phenomenal. I love it. It's my favorite. And to be able to play through that, and it just felt so good.
They've always done a good job, though. And I know you won't say you care about this, but they're always respectful of the mythologies, too. Like, they really, truly understand it. Like, there's never anything that's real outlandish about.
No, what do you mean I wouldn't say? What?
Well, I figured you'd be like, oh, that doesn't really matter,
No, that does matter. Because
I think it...
Because that's important. Because that and there, when they did it for Origins and focus on Egyptian mythology, it was so dead accurate. And so was Greek mythology for Odyssey. And that is important to me because I want to be pulled into the game. Mm-hmm. And to be frank with you, I wish they would have done more on the mythical side versus focusing more on real history, even though I know that's what AC is about. But if they focus more on the mythical side, I think it would have drawn in a huge fan base and a different fan base.
I'm surprised we don't have a game focused like that.
No, we do, though. Ubisoft dropped... As a matter of fact, I played and beat it, and I absolutely loved it. Immortals: Phoenix Arising. That game was focused 100% on Greek mythology. And it literally focuses on every god. And it was a phenomenal game. And it branched off of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That team that made Odyssey went to Ubisoft, whoever they have to go to, say, hey, can we make this game? And they approved it. And it was a diamond in the rough. It was a phenomenal game, easily a 9 out of 10 for me. But I do think that they should focus a bit more on the mythical side with those realistic graphics, because that was a little cartoony game. That would be amazing, and I'm kind of shocked they haven't done that. But with the real graphics, like the realistic ones, and yeah, good stuff.
Good game.
Yeah, but I mean that's it. And I know we kind of got off subject there, but I think Sony's just definitely digging theirself a big old hole that they're going to lay in here soon. And I do think that if they continue to go down this path, they're going to lose a ton of fans, and Xbox is going to welcome them with a smile.
Sometimes, though, a company needs a big dose of what's the word I'm looking for? Reality here.
And definitely Xbox had that. Yep. I want to add that real quick, though. Xbox was under the leadership of Maverick back when they failed. And then Phil took over and changed it around. That's what PlayStation needs now. Jim, retire. Let somebody else take the reins.
If this next year things don't start improving, I think from consumer feedback, I think we'll have someone that's going to retire soon.
Yeah, that's what I said.
think that's what. Yeah, it's not going to be him acting. Well, it'll be him choosing to, but it's going to be one of those where like, hey, you got to go.
Yeah, because what's going to happen is the board's going to vote him off.
Yep.
And he may stay on it like as chairman or as a board advisor, but he won't be CEO. And they'd be very smart to bring Sean Layden back on. Sean left Sony because he did not like working for Jim. So Layden was over the PlayStation division. Jim Ryan was over Sony Interactive, which is the whole company. And long story short, Sean didn't like Jim, and so he left because of that reason. That was very well known. Well, it looks like Jim needs Sean, and we know damn well Sean's not going back because he doesn't like Jim. So Jim's going to end up retiring early, and Sean will be back. And I can tell you, Sean, on his Twitter account, he did reply to fans he would love to go back to PlayStation. So he's already expressing interest. So I could see that coming into fruition here soon.
When there's smoke,
again, fire. There's no confirmation or rumor saying he's going back. Yeah. He's just saying he would, and that to me, there's some light there. And again, it hasn't really been talked about on the internet yet, but I guess you can say, me just making a random guess there or prediction, I do think he's going to end up going back. And I think it's going to help them out drastically. and help them be of the counter Xbox, because we need the friendly competition there. Because if Xbox were to rule everything, then Xbox could do anything they want to the consumer, and we wouldn't really have any say in it if there's only one person in that field, right?
I mean, look at Disney last year did the exchange, CEO from Iger to Chesapeake. Then fans, like loyalists, really lost their faith, and then the pandemic happened and everything. And they went right back to Iger real quick and had him, quote unquote, take over to, help through these difficult times. It's not uncommon for power companies to go back to things that were working. So it's not an insane thing to think that Layden could come back.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Because big companies, they care about the people, but the more important thing they care about is money. And if someone was bringing in that money under their term, then that person's typically going to stay on or come back.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I think that's it.
Oh, man. Wow. Well, let's see here. So moral of the story, PlayStation. What the snickerdoodle.
Yeah. Get your crap together.
All right, Nitwits. Stay classy.
Goodbye.